The funny thing that I remember, even though I knew about the Great Pyramids of Egypt, is I remember hearing something about in Mexico there's actually a larger pyramid, larger civilizations in Mexico, because everybody just thinks when you think pyramids you think Egypt. But believe it or not, hidden in Mexico is actually a lot more interesting facts and surprising facts that Egypt could never ever actually be able to explain. I wanted to show you. Now this is one of the pyramids. It's the Chichen Itza in Yucatan, Mexico, and there's a lot of them. There's actually tons and tons of them. And I wanted to know what year it was built. It was 800 AD. So if this one was 2,540 before Christ, then that's before Christ, that's BC, and then AD is after the death of Christ. So that's when it goes to 0, is the day Christ died, and then that's when it starts saying AD. And so this was built 800 years after AD. So virtually you can then say 2,540 plus 800. So 3,000 or 3,300, about 3,300 from this day. So 3,300, then minus that to here. So 4,555 minus 3,300 would basically leave you 1,200 years. So this was actually this is BC. So AD would be virtually 1,200 years ago, if my math is right, and I'm not promising anything. So 1,200, or so we're in 2016. So my math might be off. I actually really did bad in math in high school, but I could be wrong. But I'm just gonna say 1,200 years ago. Is that right? Because well, then you can just easily just do it like this though too. So 800 AD, and we're in AD right now at 2016. So it's actually pretty close because we're in 2016. So yeah, 1,200 years ago is when these were built. The funny thing is, the god of the planet. I was curious about the location of this area, and so I decided to look on the Google map, and what I found was where the strange location is, and that's technically where it is that these Aztec new pyramids are. And the interesting thing is, way over here, right? This is Egypt, and then he builds the very first ones. You saw how long ago it was, right? And then he just takes a floating walk, maybe just glides over the water. And the interesting thing is, if you were a guy that had telekinesis and you could just float, taking away everything that you know about everywhere, doesn't it just seem like there's just the best spot going right here, right at the Gulf of Mexico, like a really sweet spot? Thing is, I think he thought that too. He's like, la 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 la. And I didn't even know this until right now, but that's where Cancun is. I've actually heard of Cancun since I was a kid, and I accidentally just clicked on it, just by accident. And that's Cancun. You hear about it all the time. Now, right here is, right in this area, is where that pyramid was built, at the very tip in Mexico. Now, the other one, because there's multiple ones, there's like tons and tons of them. The biggest one in the whole world is built right in this area. And the interesting thing that you might not know about the one that is let's see, watch. and then you say, so the largest pyramid in the world is Cholula. So you go, Cholula pyramid, right? Most people don't know this. And then this is something that I was just looking at. Now this is in Mexico. And this is what it basically looks like when you're in Mexico. If you were to go to Mexico right now, the thing is, this is the way it is right now. And do you see how close the bricks are stacked together? Just a little bit upgraded. Now all of these green grass things is just the years of how long it's got overgrowth. Overgrowth, and then well, I found something that you might find really interesting. I think it was right. No. Right, hold on. Cholula Creek. Okay, I think this was it. Okay, you might actually find this interesting. Hold on. Yeah, you can't hear it. But you can look this up. It's the prehistory of Cholula Pyramid and the Tower of Babel. Now, this guy actually uses Google Map to show you something that he is talking about right now. You can't hear it because in this hotel that doesn't have speakers to this computer. But this is actually the size of the original one, even though it looks like it's not there because of the overgrowth. And he'll show you. He'll actually go down and show you. But this is the very top. Now I'm going to pause it because right here, that top image was what we just looked at. This right here. Sounds crazy, but he got kind of creative and built the entire thing, and then left some growth, and then put a tower castle on top. And this is what you're looking at down there. It's not an unfinished temple. He accented it with mountainside and just put a road there. Got extra creative and built mountain and pyramid in one. And what you'll see in the video itself is he'll show you evidence of that when he and this is real. This is actually Google Earth, so you can see this. And he's going to talk about how that's the size of the pyramid. It's just got so much growth over the top of it, but he'll show you because he'll go down and make proof of it. And this is what we just got to looking at. And that's there even today. And see how close they are? See how close they are spaced together? Perfectly even. So, and then this is what man did after that, because they were trying to duplicate it. Like they said, how did that person do that? And when he left there, the god of that area, when he left there, people, later followers, started to say, how did they stack the bricks perfectly? And they were obsessed about it. So over the top of it, they tried to reenact it just because they didn't know who did it. And they couldn't do it. See how this is man, and then that's God. Man, God. And no one knows where he went, after that. And so what I think was he just embodies somebody and then makes something to create hope in religion. And he went from the Egypt area, just went right over the water, and then went into a really, really nice area and just did it again, but an upgraded version. So